So I came across this forum post that basically asks if there's a way to show/hide annotations belonging to certain parts of the hierarchy in QPath. Now, hiding things from a viewer has always been a challenge, especially when you want to simultaneously hide a very specific subset of objects that require multiple kind of classification criteria. So my understanding based on this diagram here is there are two annotations that are being generated on a single image, and cells will fall on either of these annotations, which can also contain multiple classes. The author of this post is looking for a way to basically hide all cells that fall within a certain annotation class. And to go one step further, I will show a way of not only hiding all cells of a particular annotation class, but cells that are classified within a certain annotation that also need to be hidden. So maybe you want to only hide cells that are red and fall within annotation 2, just as an example. So I'll go through this, right now. So let's talk about the QPath project. Here we're using a sample image. I believe this is skin tissue. And we have manually drawn annotations that belong to two classes, tumor and stroma. We've also created a class called toHide, which we will use to classify objects we intend to hide from the viewer. Now we're going to run a standard cell detection. First, we want to just clear any pre-existing objects, select all annotations, and run a standard cell segmentation. So now we effectively have a set of objects in parent annotations, just like the poster Mina Kamel illustrated. Now we classify our cells. So to mimic this hierarchy, we can see that there's green, orange, and red cells. Here we'll have blue be negative, yellow be +1, orange be +2, and red be +3. Now, right off the bat, we can select all cells that fall within the tumor annotation. Control Shift R. Okay. And we can, so now we actually have a list of cells that fall within the tumor annotation, albeit not highlighted. It's populated by the variable tumor cells. We can then select objects that belong to the negative or +1 category. So there'll be cells that fall within both annotations, but the way we select only the +1 or below cells is through intersection of our two lists. So let's select these objects, and again, it doesn't seem like anything's been updated, but rest assured, it's all being populated in this variable called +1 or below. We then intersect the two lists. So of the cells that are either negative or +1, we also want to find those that contain the parent classification of tumor, or rather are in this list called tumor cells. So we intersect, oops, +1 or below. And that very odd. Oh, my bad. Apparently I can't run line by line at a time, so I guess I'll have to run it all at once. And why is this not working? Uh, There we go. So, sorry about the confusion. I'm not entirely sure what went wrong. Um, but as you can see, we've hidden, uh, well, any cell with the classification to hide. So let me just summarize what happened since my initial idea of going line by line didn't really work out when I wanted to demonstrate this. But we select all the annotations that were generated. We've run cell detection, classified cells based on low or negative, +1, +2, +3, just to generate some arbitrary classes. We then found a list of cells that fall within the tumor annotation. We then found a list of cells that fall within the negative or +1 classifications. We intersect this list, and then we overwrite the class of these objects. So, cells that contain either negative or +1 and fall within the tumor parent annotation were assigned the class to hide. We then used the overlay options feature to add to hide as this hidden class property. So now our to hide class is all gone. If we want to see what objects were hidden, we simply right click on this and we click show classes in viewer. So everything in white were the cells that were hidden. Now, if you want to preserve the classification, you might have to rerun the classification at the very end. That'll let me do it. Nope. Really run that again. Yeah. So you'll have to basically rerun your classification algorithm again if you would want to see what the original class was. Now, this illustrates somewhat what I believe to be the answer to this problem. But since in this diagram you demonstrated a need to hide all cells regardless of their classification and simply hide them based on parent annotation, I'll show how you could modify the script to achieve just that. So instead of running an intersection and hiding those, in this line over here, instead of hiding the combined cells, we'll simply hide the tumor cells. So now if we set this to tumor cells only, and we rerun this, hopefully all cells that fall within the tumor annotation by the end of the script running will be hidden. Yeah, so that's that. I believe this basically mimics what's shown here. Now, the only thing that I'm not entirely sure of is what's defined as an annotation algorithm 1 and annotation algorithm 2. Perhaps they're referring to two different pixel classifiers used to create the annotations, in which case this would be applicable. You would simply, or not simply, if you wanted to compare two different pixel classifiers, well, honestly, I might just recommend duplicating this image and running your second pixel classifier to generate your second set of annotations and hiding the cells accordingly that way. But yeah, hopefully this answers your question. I thought this would be an easy, quick video, but as it turns out, hiding certain objects can only really be done, using this method over here. Basically assigning a classification on the objects you want to hide and hiding those. It's not ideal, but if this is simply for the sake of visualization, which judging by this forum post or the question, simply showing and hiding annotations based on where they're in the hierarchy, well, that's how it should be done. Now, if you wanted to actually hide the annotation itself, same as before, you would simply select your annotation, whether it be programmatically or simply by clicking on the annotation or selecting all objects of this particular annotation class, and you can right-click hide classes in viewer, and it should be hidden. This is always a reversible process, so you're never actually deleting objects. So yeah, and if you ever want to simply recover the objects, just show them again. Of course, they'll lose their original classification, but hopefully it won't be an issue if you're just trying to visualize, um, a small subset of cells and ignore everything else. And yeah, I will post this script in the comments of the video as well as on the forum itself. Let me just quickly revert this back to what it originally was, which was combined. And yeah, on that note, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to let me know. Thanks.